Itching for some stitching? If you're new to my channel, I design simply chic patterns for crocheters of all levels. You can find written instructions for all my free patterns on my website, itchingforsomestitching.com. You can find all my patterns in PDF format for purchase in my shop, or you can get them as a member of my VIP community. If you haven't done so before, I'd love it if you'd hit that like button, pop a comment on down below, and subscribe to the channel. Today I'm showing you how to crochet my puffed keepsake heart, a sweet and versatile little project that makes a lovely gift. Use it as a scented sachet, a pincushion, or a heartfelt handmade accent. I do have hearts here in 2 different sizes. These were made with a 3.5mm crochet hook. This one was made with a 5.5 crochet millimeter hook. As you can see, my dog thought this one belonged to her. She took it off my desk and decided to use it as a chew toy. So this is the one I'm going to remake for you today. So to do this project, you will need a crochet hook of your choice, as long as you use corresponding weight yarn. This is all done with medium 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm going to be using a 5.5mm hook. You will also need embroidery scissors, a tapestry needle, and about 4 to 8 grams of polyfill to stuff your heart. Okay, to start our heart, we are going to start with a magic circle. Okay. All right. And we want to go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This does count as our first double crochet. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to work 12 more double crochets into this ring. So at the end, we will have 13 double crochets. One, 2, 3, and 12. Okay. Go ahead and close our ring. All right. And then we want to close this up into the 3rd chain here and place a slip stitch. Okay. And that's our first round. For our next round, we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we're going to start into our next stitch right here, and we're going to work 5 treble crochets. That's 1. That's 2. Three. 4. And this is 5. Now, our beginning chain 4 is right here, and it does count as a treble crochet. So right here we have 6 treble crochets. Into our next stitch, we are going to work 2 treble crochets. One. And 2. Okay, into our next stitch, we're going to work 1 treble crochet. Now into our next 2 stitches, we're going to work 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets. That's 1. That's 2. Okay. Now in this next stitch here, we are going to work the point of our heart. So we are going to work a double crochet, a treble crochet, and a double crochet all into this next stitch right here. So this is a double crochet, a treble crochet, and then a double crochet. Okay. Okay, if we shape our heart, we can see it shaping out like this. Okay, so now essentially we're going to repeat what we did here backwards. So into our next 2 stitches, we're going to place 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets. That's 1. 2. 1. This is 2. Okay. Now into our next stitch, we are going to place 1 treble crochet, and into our next stitch, we're going to place 2 treble crochets, okay, and then to our stitch right here, we're going to place 6 treble crochets. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Okay. Okay, now here within, we're going to place a slip stitch into this stitch right here. Okay. And now to move on to the next round, what we want to do is we want to place a single crochet into the front loop only of every stitch all the way around. Okay. So when you're looking at your stitches, this is your front loop and this is your back loop. So we want to make sure that we're only going in to our front loop. Okay. And we're going to start that all the way up the chain. So we're going to go here, 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 and then into our stitches here. Okay. Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, okay, single crochet, and we want to do that all the way around. All right, now I want you to continue following along, placing those single crochets into the front stitch, front loops only, and we get back to here. We'll close it off, and I'll teach you how to do the filling. Okay, so I have come all the way back around. I have 1 single crochet into the front loop only left to do here. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the slip stitch here, But instead of grabbing my pink yarn, I'm going to go ahead and grab my filling yarn. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just grab this filling yarn right here. Okay. And I'm going to change to my filling color. Okay. And I'm going to pull that. I'm going to pull that through here. Okay. And now what we want to do is we are going to continue on. We're going to flip this over here. And you can see this here. These loops right here, these are the back loops of that second round that we did. Here we went into the front loop. This is the back loop. And now we're going to be taking our filling and we're going to be working into those back loops. And what I want you to do is I want you to make a single crochet, a chain stitch, and then a single crochet in each of these back loops. Okay, so let's start right here. We'll start right here and go. Single crochet, chain one, go into the same back loop stitch, and single crochet. Okay, now let's just tighten this up here. Okay, I'm gonna go into the next one, single crochet, chain one, into the next one, single crochet. Okay, we're going to go into the next one here, single crochet, chain one, single crochet. Okay, single crochet, chain one, single crochet. Okay, all right, and we're going to do that, like I said, in the back loops all the way around. And when we get back here, we'll close it off. Okay, so I am back. I have gone all the way around in the back loop only of my heart and created that sort of ruffled filling. You can see that our top part of our heart has kind of curled in a little bit, and that is okay because when we finish this up, it's going to lay flat. So just sort of ignore that for the moment. A couple things. Let me just get this out of the way here. So if you haven't already, go ahead and make sure you pull to close that center hole that would have been in the center of your ring from the magic ring. And then go ahead and bind off and weave this in. Also, after the third round of your heart, so before you do the filling, go ahead and bind off and weave in the end there for that one as well. This right here is where I attached the cream color that I'm going to use, that I'm using for my filling. Bind off and weave this end as well. And then what I want you to do is I want you to leave, so when you're at the end of the filling, I want you to leave a really, really long tail. I would say about 2 to 3 feet of tail. It's better to have excess tail and have to chop some off than not have enough. And then after those things are done, what I want you to do is I want you to make another heart. Do not add the cream filling, but do rounds 1, 2, and 3 of the heart. And when you get to the end of round 3 for the heart, which would be where this one ended right here, instead of chopping it off short and weaving it in, I want you to leave this one really, really long. Like you did this one, I want it to be about 2 to 3 feet long for seaming later. So like I said, it is better to have excess than not enough. So I am back. And I now have both pieces of my puffed heart. And so now what we want to do is we want to put these together, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to seal them together, okay, coming all the way around. And we're going to come up here and we're going to leave a small hole that's going to be right in here to where we're going to stuff it, okay? So we're going to just kind of put this out of the way and we're going to start with the tail that's left from our filling. And what I'm going to do is line these up. Okay. I'm going to come right across And I'm going to work into the back loop of that second round. Okay, remember the single crochets went into the front loop. Now I'm going to work into these back loops right here. So I'm going to just kind of go over here, pull it through. Okay. And pull that in. Okay. And then what I want to do is I'm going to go along the edge of the filling right here. And I'm just going to grab a little bit along the base. Okay. And bring that up and pull through. Okay. And that's going to start to attach these here. Okay. I'm going to go to the next one into that back loop. Pull through. Grab a little bit of the filling there at, make sure you're at the base. Pull through. Okay. Grab the next, underneath the next post and pull through. Okay. Grab a little bit of the base here. Pull through. Okay. And we're just going to keep going just like that. Okay. And I want you to keep going just like that all the way around, like I said, until we get right back through here. I want you to leave a little hole right here for stuffing, okay? So let's go ahead, do that seaming, and I'll meet you right back here and we'll get it stuffed. Okay, so I am back. I have come all the way around with my seaming, okay? And what I've done, I'm here at the top, and I have got this little hole left. And what I'm going to do with that little hole is I'm going to start stuffing, okay? And now, how much you stuff is up to you, and of course, however much you can fit in comfortably, how much of a puff you want, okay? But go ahead at this point, stuff this as much as you want it to be stuffed, okay? All right, and then I'm just going to finish up here, closing up the hole, okay? Get down in there. Okay, and then I'm just going to go right across here, and I'm going to seam these two together. Kind of seal things up. Keep that out of the way. Keep our heart intact. Okay, and then once that's seamed together, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just weave this into my white and then clip it, get it all bound in, and then we'll come back and we will go ahead and finish up the rest of our heart. So I'm back. We have added our fluff. Okay, our heart is puffed. And now what we want to do is we want to actually seam through all three layers, okay? So what we're going to do with that really long tail that we had is I have threaded it with a tapestry needle, okay? And now I'm going to go through both loops of the stitch through the cream. I'm going to go over here onto the other side, and I'm going to go through both loops of the corresponding stitch on the other side, okay? And we're going to pull through. Okay. And then I'm going to come back the other way through the fluff. Right through the side. Okay. And that is just going to seal it all down, okay? And it's going to lay this edge flat. Okay. Okay, so I want you to do that. We're going to make a sandwich like this all the way around. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I have gone all around my heart. Okay, and I'm actually, so I went all the way around here, and then I actually went over and I ended here. Okay, and so there we have it, a little puffed heart. Go ahead and weave this in. All right, bind it up. Okay, and then you have your cute little puffed heart.